r/offmychest. Indy Curtis says, there is no good reason not to be an organ donor. Paramedics will not steal your organs. This is the most pernicious myth I have ever seen in modern society. It's total bullshit and people still believe this crap. Your organs could save a life. I'm at the DMV right now, listening to people refusing to be organ donors for no good reason. Be an organ donor. Over Error 3520 says, the only reason I can think of is religious reasons. Some believe that their whole body needs to be buried to make it to their afterlife. However, most religions don't have that stipulation. Especially if you're planning on being cremated. Being an organ donor is an easy choice. I'd quit a Calblub says, I also don't understand people who don't want to donate BC of that reason, but have no problem getting a donation. Like, that heart is not yours and now you're getting buried with not your entire body anyway. Like, if that's the reason not to be a donor, then they shouldn't want to receive it either. Mediocre Conference 64 says, the religions that are against organ donation are also against receiving a donation. They're also typically against transfusions. Juisa says, people should absolutely have the choice. Gifted by Aileen says, seriously. No should always mean no. IDKY with this example that's not respected. Very well, I believe in it, so you should too. Redarul 770 says, Reddit loves to make this point that anyone who isn't an organ donor is beyond selfish. But your body is your body. It's one of the most sacred rights, Imo. Even if they'd want my organs, they wouldn't. My answer would be a no. No amount of, but you could save X amount of lives or grant someone the ability to see would persuade me. I don't want my naked body cut up and harvested. I've had friends in med school and the way the students treat the cadavers is enough to make me say no. I don't want them peeling off my skin. I don't want them dissecting me and poking and prodding my corpse. Even if there's no good reason behind the choice, people still should have the right to make that choice. This attitude is perilously close to the attitude that we should disregard autonomy entirely and just do it anyways. r/offmychest. Fragrant Major 6270 says, I have genital herpes and I want to cry. I 21 female, just realized, maybe 20 minutes ago, that I have genital herpes. I've been sick for almost 2 weeks with flu-like symptoms. I've had a sore throat for a while now. I thought I had a UT because it hurts to pee, so last Sunday I went to an urgent care and the doctor said I didn't have one. I told her about all of my symptoms, which included a suspicious bump on my vulva, and she offered to take a look. I thought it was an ingrown hair, and she did too, but she swabbed it anyway and sent to a lab. My symptoms got worse. I started having chills, back pain, side pain, and a lymph node around my groin/vulva was so swollen and tender, so I went to the ER. They gave me IV pain meds which helped a lot, and they noted that all I had was BV and a yeast infection. Cool, I get those often, so I'm not too upset. I go home, and the next day I start feeling sick again. Jump to today, I'm still in bed with a sore throat, constipated, hurts whenever I pee, and I'm barely peeing, and the bump is hurting more and more. And it hurts whenever I sit down. I took a picture with flash and see that the bump has turned into small blisters surrounding it, and I just knew instantly what it was because I did some doom googling over the past few days. I haven't done a blood test yet, but I have genital herpes. I've been crying, and I feel ashamed, and I don't know what to do going forward. I want to meet with my Gino ASAP to see what can be done, but I don't know how soon I can see her. I know it's permanent, and there's no cure, but will I have flare-ups as painful as this all the time? What am I supposed to do in the meantime between now and seeing my Gino? It hurts so bad, I'm embarrassed, and I hate myself for being stupid and contracting it from someone. I feel like my life is over just when I was starting to move past from a lot of trauma that I've gone through over the last year. I don't plan on telling my family any of this if I don't have to. They are conservative and judgmental and they wouldn't look at me the same. Spazmoon says, I dated someone once who contracted this from a previous partner who had cheated on them. They had the initial miserable outbreak, then never had one again. They told me before we got together, and even though I thought it would have bothered me or been a deal breaker, I decided it wasn't because I was very invested in that person. The reason it didn't work out was completely unrelated to their status, and yes, we were intimate, and no, I did not contract it. I once read a statistic that said something like 1:8 people in the US have it, many unknowingly. This is not the end, honey. You are not dirty or shameful or any less worthy of a good and beautiful life full of love and intimacy. If someone gave this to you who knew they had it and didn't tell you, however, get your definitive diagnosis. Mourn. Get angry. Eat ice cream. Let yourself be human. Consider support groups, therapy, anything at all you may need, but gods, don't blame yourself, love. It really is going to be okay, even if okay looks a little different now. Optimal Technician 16 says, this situation really sucks and I'm sorry you're going through this. You need to talk to your doctor ASAP. You are correct in saying that there is no cure. This is forever. However, treatment is available and you will live a fulfilling life regardless. Feel your emotions, cry, talk to whoever you need to, or don't if you don't want to, and remember that there are thousands of people in your situation, and I recommend talking to them about it. Literal Not Landfill says, I was devastated when I found out I had it. It was terrible. But not so much the second time I had a breakout, enough to notice, but not bad enough that I couldn't go about my days normally. I thought I would never feel normal again, but I do. You will too. I Love Triangles says, I found out I had it back in October and posted on here just like you are. I understand how you feel. I had my initial outbreak, but it's been months since the last one. You really don't have to tell anyone except potential partners. I don't have much advice, but just know you're not alone. r/offmychest. Confident Republic 565 says, my boyfriend can't get over the fact my body count is higher than his plus. So my boyfriend 21 male and I 22 female have known of each other since high school. When I was about 15 over 16 I had given head to someone he still calls his friend, and that person had went on to embarrass me with that by telling everyone, including my boyfriend. At the time we just knew of each other, so of course it didn't matter to him, but now that we have fallen in love it does, understandably so. The thing is, I can't tell if it's more so him that has an issue with it, or if it's the judgment from these friends he has whilst trying to protect a reputation. The thing about him is that, even though he calls this person his friend, they aren't real friends. They don't even speak about anything at all. They just play basketball and 2K together on occasion. My boyfriend is extremely introverted and has told me I'm the only person has ever even somewhat opened up to at all. That being said, he seems to be worried about judgment from people who aren't even supportive of him in any aspect of life at all. Another thing is that my body count is also double his. His is just under double digits and mine is over 10. He has the same issue with this as well, where he can't get over it. I had asked him if it's the amount of experiences or the amount of different people we've explained in depth when each experience happened, why and how I felt about it then and now. Most of them were when I was 17 to 18, and from after finally getting out of a previous relationship which was extremely abusive and included being blackmailed for months. I've already explained my reasonings before reflection as an adult and after to try to get him to understand the thought process, but he just can't accept that it has been more different people than he has had. Both of these things he knew since before we started speaking to each other. That's been almost a year. Now, he is now saying he can't do it as has tried for months and is unable to look past those things. We have a beautiful relationship otherwise. The only present shit we have gone through together since being together has been from his side as well. I have done everything in my power to do this healthily considering my last relationship. We are full of love and care, and what we both agree is very, very special. I have tried to explain that because he is so introverted he may be going through a phase of allowing his ego to control his mind instead of vice versa, and even tried to explain that when you want to overcome something you have the power to do so. That's how people heal. He is very much just set on he can't do it, but still says he loves and wants me. Is there anything I can do to help him understand that it is possible to get past these things as they don't presently affect? Lurker the Pip says, men have to convince people to have sex with them. Even attractive men. Attractive women just have to go out in public. Sex if offered left and right. How is this hard to believe? Decadent Life says, if he's so humiliated that you ever went down on someone else prior to being in a relationship with him, maybe you should joke and pretend to agree that it was somehow trashy, which is ridiculous, and you'll never go downtown again. He probably wouldn't like that. Seriously though, the shaming stuff is silly and childish. I don't know if he is going to get past it at all. I would be surprised if he does, since it occupies so much of his thoughts at this time. Aren't you tired of being judged? I also think it's kind of sad that you felt like you had to justify all of your past actions by running it by him and explaining everything. It's your body. You do not belong to anyone but yourself. GIMBoy1290 says, IDKY everyone is blaming the BF. But if he isn't comfortable with someone who has a higher body count than him, he could go with someone who has lower. If it's absolutely a requirement for him in a relationship, then go ahead, tell him to look for someone who has a low BC, if that hinders his ability to be in the current relationship. I predict things are going to end sooner or later, if you both can't look back the past. If you both want peace and things now or regret later. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.